So E3 just passed, and I thought it was a great time. Because I'm a shameless Nintendo fan, I have to say that their Spotlight was my favorite. However, I would say that this E3 was pretty good. It was the first time in a long time where I didn't feel like anyone really crashed or burned, especially out of the big three. The only press conference I didn't watch was EA. I heard that they did pretty badly, but I can't really speak on their behalf. But I'm not here to talk about E3 per se. I wanted to use E3 as a springboard to talk about some viewer expectations for Nintendo at this past E3, specifically Super Smash Bros. A lot of enthusiasts here on YouTube predicted we'd see Smash Bros. At E3, and other people said the opposite. That said, most people seem to be under the impression that the next installment of the famed Super Smash Bros. Series may be a port of Super Smash Bros. For Wii U and 3DS. People believe this for different reasons, whether it be because of some leaks, some of them reputable sources and some of them not, or because it seems to be a logical conclusion to make, because of course they've made ports for Mario Kart 8 and Pokken from the Wii U coming to the Switch. While I can't blame people for thinking that the next Super Smash Bros. Game will be a port of Smash 4, I can't stress enough that this will not be the case, and I'm about to break down why that is. If there's anything in this video that you disagree with, or if I get any facts wrong, please feel free to let me know in the comments. Hey, I'm human too. Without further ado, here is why the next Super Smash Bros. Game is not going to be a port of Smash 4. Because I like to keep my ideas organized, I'd like to tackle these topics in segments. I'm going to break this down into 3 segments, leading with the weakest reason to the strongest. 1. Creating a combined port of Smash 4 for the Switch would put it at direct odds with the 3DS. Smash 4 was released for both Wii U and 3DS, and while the games are mostly the same, there are multiple key differences such as modes and maps. This was done to keep the games distinct and provide incentive for consumers to purchase both games. What would happen if a Switch port were to be released with all content from both games inside of it? Well, since the previously unique 3DS content would be available on the Switch, such as the modes and the maps, it would eliminate any reason to own the 3DS version, especially because the Switch is also a portable version of the exact same game, just upgraded. The reason this is a problem is because the 3DS is still a strong handheld for Nintendo. They won't be letting go of it for any conceivable future, and it's constantly seeing support. And we get a new version of the 3DS like almost every year. Like we get the 3DS XL, large, 2DS, 2DS XL, new 2DS XL. The point is, support for the 3DS will probably go on for another 2 or 3 years. With that in mind, why on earth delegitimize one of Nintendo's best-selling franchises on one of their most successful handhelds by creating a completely definitive version on the Switch? This isn't an issue for the Wii U because the Wii U is pretty much dead already, and the Switch is Nintendo's newest console, but the 3DS is still Nintendo's current handheld, so a port to the Switch with content from both the Wii U and 3DS, it hurting the 3DS becomes a much bigger issue as opposed to the Wii U. Number 2. Creating a Smash 4 port to the Switch with all the content and DLC from both versions would be a slap to the face to consumers of the original titles. If there is anything I can be certain of, is that Nintendo learned their lesson with financially screwing over their fans. When the 3DS initially dropped, for instance, the price tag was pretty massive. After some time, they reduced the price by like $100. Of course, people who purchased the game before the price drop were very upset. To compensate those fans, Nintendo introduced the Ambassadors program, with 10 classic games available for free for anyone who registered their 3DS within a certain time period. This Ambassador program shows me that Nintendo learned their lesson. Now imagine this. An avid Smash Bros. Fan purchases both Smash 4 for Wii U and 3DS on launch so they can experience the unique content in both games. After the release, a short year after, they've introduced the DLC packs. If that fan purchased all the DLC for both versions, including characters, stages, and costumes, that individual will have spent well over $200 for all of it. Then, they introduce a single game with all unique modes from both the Wii U and 3DS version, including all DLC for what, like 80 or 90 bucks? That is a good way to piss off a lot of people. And as I said, I think Nintendo learned their lesson with the Ambassador program, so they'd probably want to avoid that. I don't really see them following the steps of what they did before with the 3DS in terms of the pricing. by releasing the Switch version and having it have all these features that people had to pay a lot of money to get in the initial versions. Number 3, last, and what I think is the most compelling reason, is that there have been too many new events since the launch of Smash 4 and 3DS. What do I mean by this? What I mean is, since Smash for Wii U and 3DS launched in 2014, we've had so many new titles and even some new IPs. Take this E3 for example. We have amazing new games to look forward to. Metroid Prime 4, Xenoblade 2, Splatoon 2, we just had ARMS, we're getting Mario Odyssey, we have Fire Emblem 2018, and the new Pokemon game coming to Nintendo Switch. Why on earth would they decide now is the perfect time to make a port of Smash 4 for the Switch? If a port was coming in 2018, by the way, we would almost certainly have seen it at E3. At this point, if a port was in the works, how late would it be to come out? Late 2018? 2019? At that point, there's so much new content that they could be using for the next Smash game. And people really think they would just do a simple port with what, like Ice Climbers and 2 new characters? To me, that doesn't seem realistic. How would they decide who to pick? By the time the port drops, if it's coming, there will be entirely too many characters to choose from. Splatoon and ARMS need representation in Smash at some point. What about Fire Emblem? The new console game is coming out in 2018, and you're saying that they would release a port of Smash 4 in the same year without including someone from that game in the roster like they've done for every game since Melee? What about Xenoblade 2? Rex, Pyra, and Hikari all look like amazing characters. Rex in particular looks like he was designed for Smash Brothers. A new core Pokemon game is coming out for the Switch, and you'd think they'd just be all like, nah, have a port, have fun waiting for the next Smash game on the next console in like 6 or 7 years. Get real! Metroid Prime 4, what if Psylux is sick as shit? Too bad, Smash 4 port with like maybe 2 new characters in addition to Ice Climbers, if even. There's no guarantee that even if there was a port that they would have additional characters. I haven't even talked about every character they could add from new games, but let's mention any updates to existing stuff that they wouldn't be able to do if they were being faithful to the original titles of the Wii U and 3DS. Right? Like, they wouldn't be able to change very much from the original source material because it is a port, right? I'll give you an example. Hyrule Warriors came out around the same time Smash 4 did, so nothing in Smash 4 could be included from Hyrule Warriors, and no real inspiration was drawn from Hyrule Warriors in the creation of Smash 4. What if the Smash Bros. Developers wanted to rehash Ganondorf's kit to resemble what he looked like and what he could do in Hyrule Warriors? Well, if it's a port, they can't really stray from the initial design of what Ganondorf as a character can and can't do, or else it wouldn't really be a faithful port. It's a whole character's kit. It wouldn't make sense to make a port and then completely change how the characters already introduced in the game behave. In general, there is just too much new stuff on the horizon that could be fantastic for the next game. I just doubt a port is coming. And in general, Smash Bros. Is such a huge franchise that I can't see Nintendo not developing a new one for every console generation, even if Sakurai isn't at the helm. Some people forget, but Satoru Iwata was also one of the main developers alongside Masahiro Sakurai when developing the original game on the N64 as well as Melee for the GameCube. After Melee, Satoru Iwata stepped down and Sakurai took the wheel. But it puts into perspective that Sakurai doesn't have to be the head honcho forever, and it's become obvious now more than ever that Smash has grown beyond the influence of just one person. I don't think it's feasible to expect any one person, Sakurai or not, to be the principal director for the next installment. So this argument that the next Smash game can't be a new one because Sakurai wouldn't want to develop one from scratch again doesn't really hold water anymore. Other developers could hop on board to oversee or at least assist in the process of the creation of that game. Nintendo has the resources to do it, especially if it's for one of their most important franchises. Smash Bros. Is one of, if not the most influential franchise that they have. Like, everyone knows about Smash. So that was my video on why I don't think the next Smash game to come out will be a port of the Wii U and 3DS version to the Switch. But let me know if I got anything wrong, if I missed anything, or if you disagree, let me know in the comments below. Thank you very much, and goodbye.